Can you imagine a suffering soul from purgatory sharing the quickest path to heaven? What if they revealed the true nature of purgatory and the prayers that brought them relief? These insights, often called the secrets of purgatory, are meant to be known, especially by Catholics. Unfortunately, many overlook purgatory and neglect to pray for their loved ones, causing these vital truths to be buried. God desires for purgatory to be understood as much as we're capable, and in His mercy, He sometimes lets souls reach out to remind us that it is real and that countless souls depend on our prayers. Such is the case of a sister by the name of Sister Mary of the Cross, who received visitation of a deceased nun who had died a few years earlier in 1871. At first, the sister only heard the terrible groanings and moanings of the deceased soul, and it caused her much distress. She increased her prayers and devotions and offered all her communion in the hope that the soul would leave her alone. Finally, in 1874, she heard the voice for the first time. "Do not be afraid. You will not see me in my suffering. I am Sister Mary Gabriel." This sister had been difficult for Sister Mary of the Cross to deal with at times, and in His great mercy, God allowed Sister Mary Gabriel to appear to Sister Mary of the Cross during her time in purgatory to attain relief, and to also teach us about the sufferings of the souls of purgatory. These visits would last from 1874 to 1890. Sister Mary of the Cross dreaded these apparitions. She did not in any way feel special that she had been chosen for this task. If anything, she was the type of person that preferred to blend in the background. Furthermore, she could not always be convinced that the apparitions were truly from God and not from the devil. But despite her doubts, she obediently wrote down all that was said by the deceased nun, as her confessor commanded. Next to the Mass, the Way of the Cross is the best prayer. Observe the strict silence well, because I often violated it. I suffer more than Sister, because she was faithful to her vocation. Suffering, however, caused her to complain, as she was badly directed spiritually. I am not able to give a visible sign. God does not permit it. I am not worthy. Because I have annoyed you so much, God wants you to pray for me. You may also tell this to Sister, to whom I was a great source of trouble, and also to Mother Superior, as I made her suffer very much. Poor Reverend Mother, if only she would have some masses offered up for me. Say a few rosaries for me and make your meditations well. I never made any. Say your divine office well. I was much distracted during mine. Observe strict religious modesty everywhere, since I never kept my eyes from seeing what I should not have seen. Be obedient to Reverend Mother, whom I annoyed so much. If only you know what I suffer. Pray for me, please. I suffer intensely everywhere. My God, how merciful you are. No one can imagine what purgatory is like. Be kind and take pity on the poor souls. Do not neglect the way of the cross. Pray well for me that I may soon be united to the object of my long-delayed and ardent desires. I shall be more useful to you in heaven than I am here. That was the good thought of yours on the day of the retreat, to invite me to come and adore Jesus present in your heart during your Thanksgiving after Holy Communion. If you had done that sooner, I should have obtained much relief. Do so in the future and before all your prayers. Also, offer a part of your work for me, as I have such an ardent longing to see God. I have been in the second purgatory since the Feast of the Annunciation. On that day, I saw the Blessed Virgin for the first time. In the first stage, we never saw her. The sight of her encourages us, and this beloved Mother speaks to us of heaven. While we see her, our sufferings are greatly diminished. Oh, how I desire to go to heaven. What a martyrdom we suffer once we have seen God. The purgatory of religious is much longer and more rigorous than that of people in the world, because religious abuse special graces. Many nuns are abandoned in purgatory, by their own fault of course, for nobody ever remembers them. Our deceased Reverend Mother has told me that God would be very pleased if the community had a Mass said for us from time to time. Be sure to tell this to Mother Superior. God loves Reverend Mother very much. He gives her a heavy cross to prove His love for her. She is in the lowest purgatory, where she receives no benefit from anyone's prayers. God is often displeased if one may speak thus. when many religious come to die, because he has called those souls to himself, that they might serve him faithfully on earth and go straight to heaven at the moment of death. But because of their infidelity, they have to stay long in purgatory, far longer than people in the world who have not had so many graces. No one can have a real understanding of the sufferings of purgatory. No one thinks of them in the world. Even religious communities forget that they should pray for the souls and that they should inspire their pupils with this devotion. They, in turn, would bring this devotion to other people of the world. I can tell you about the different degrees of purgatory because I have passed through them. In the Great Purgatory, there are several stages. In the lowest and most painful, like a temporary hell, are the sinners who have committed terrible crimes during life and whose death surprised them in that state. It was almost a miracle that they were saved, and often by the prayers of holy parents or other pious persons. Sometimes they did not even have time to confess their sins, and the world thought them lost. But God, whose mercy is infinite, gave them at the moment of death the contrition necessary for their salvation on account of one or more good actions which they performed during life. For such souls, purgatory is terrible. It is a real hell with this difference, that in hell they curse God, whereas we bless him and thank him for having saved us. Next to these come the souls who, although they did not commit great crimes like the others, were indifferent to God. They did not fulfill their Easter duties and were also converted at the point of death. Perhaps they were unable to receive Holy Communion. They are in purgatory for the long years of indifference. They suffer unheard of pain and are abandoned either without prayers, or if they are said for them, they are not allowed to profit by them. They are in this stage of purgatory religious who are tepid, neglectful of their duties, indifferent towards Jesus. Also priests who did not exercise their sacred ministry with the reverence due to the sovereign majesty, and who did not instill the love of God sufficiently into the souls confided to their care. I was in this stage of purgatory. In the second purgatory are the souls of those who died with venial sin, not fully expiated before death, or with mortal sin that have been forgiven, but for which they have not made entire satisfaction to the divine justice. In this part of purgatory, there are also different degrees according to the merits of each soul. Thus, the purgatory of the consecrated souls, or of those who have received more abundant graces, is longer and far more painful than that of ordinary people of the world. Lastly, there is the purgatory of desire, which is called the threshold. Very few escape this. To avoid it altogether, one must ardently desire heaven and the vision of God. That is rare, rarer than people think, because even pious people are afraid of God and have not, therefore, a sufficiently strong desire of going to heaven. This purgatory has its very painful martyrdom like the others. The deprivation of the sight of our loving Jesus adds to the intense suffering. How small is the number of fervent religious who really have the spirit of their vocation? About 1 in 50. You must at all costs be among the privileged ones. How great is the responsibility of a superior, a mistress of novices, a teacher. What an account they will have to render to God. Little by little, as I am being delivered, you will hear me more distinctly. When I am completely liberated, I will be a second guardian angel to you, but an angel that you can see. Mother Anne is still in purgatory because she introduced several things into the community that were not in accord with our vocation, but which tended rather to relaxation. It is a great science to be able to discern spirit. If more care were taken in receiving candidates to the religious life, there would be less trouble in communities. If you only knew what the heat of purgatory is compared to yours, a little prayer does us so much good. It is like a glass of water given to a thirsty person. Love everyone, but do not put your trust entirely in anyone, because Jesus wants to be your great confidant. Everything for him and for him alone. Perform all your actions in the presence of God, as I have so often told you. Consult him before all you do or say. Let your life be one of faith and love. Do nothing to distinguish yourself. Without offending anyone, avoid the company of those who are too unreserved and those who are uncharitable. As for yourself, be busy about your own affairs. Keep your opinions to yourself and never express them unless obliged to do so. Be preoccupied with only that one object, the mainspring of your life, Jesus. Yes, Jesus from morning to night and from night till morning. God permits some souls to attain a remarkable degree of tenderness in their love, whereas others do not experience great emotion. All this is part of His wise designs. In the case of those who are more capable of loving Him, He has reserved a special place for Himself in their hearts, so that they will pour out their love into His adorable heart. He is indeed the Master, giving to each one what He wills. You are one of the souls whom He has especially favored. Mortify yourself corporally, but more especially spiritually. Forget yourself. Deny yourself in everything. Never look at what others are doing. God does not demand the same perfection from everyone. All are not enlightened in the same way, but you, whom Jesus Himself enlightens, look only to Him. Let Him be your aim and object in everything. Before every action, no matter how trivial, ask yourself if what you are about to do will please Him. That is all that matters. Any act of indifference or want of regard on your part wounds Him, whereas a continual remembrance of His holy presence, a little aspiration to Him, a look, any little attention to give Him pleasure is noticed by Him. Guard your interior well, that you may lose none of His graces. Place yourself in the arms of Jesus, and He will never let you be found wanting. Only have unlimited confidence in His goodness. If you but realized His power, you would not put limits to it. Do not fear your own suffering. Trust in Him, never in yourself. God must be your only confidant. Complain to no one except to Him. Be quite hidden from the eyes of everyone else. Sometimes you will be ill, very ill, but you will appear quite well, because God wishes to be the only witness of what passes in you. You will learn that you and your loving God will understand each other very well. You must prepare a dwelling place for Jesus in your heart, so that later, as I have told you, He may come and rest there. You must also prepare, as well as possible, for Holy Communion. Try to think about it the night before, but especially when you awake in the morning. You must not only prepare an abode for Jesus, but also invite Him to stay with you. There would be no point in preparing a beautiful room for a guest, were you not to invite Him to enter. So invite Jesus often by your desires, and above all, by your love for Him. You should become so recollected that you do not lose sight of the presence of Jesus, even when otherwise most occupied. To achieve this, watch constantly over your interior life. Great sinners who were indifferent towards God and religious who were not always what they should have been are in the lowest stage of purgatory. While they are there, the prayers offered up for them are not applied to them. Because they have ignored God during their life, He now in turn leaves them abandoned in order that they may repair their neglectful and worthless lives. While on earth one truly cannot picture or imagine what God really is, but we in purgatory know and understand Him for what He is, because our souls are freed from all the ties that fettered them and prevented them from realizing the holiness and majesty of God and His great mercy. We are martyrs, consumed as it were by love. An irresistible force draws us towards God, who is our center, but at the same time, another force thrusts us back to our place of expiation. We are in the state of being unable to satisfy our longings. Oh, what a suffering that is! But we desire it, and there is no murmuring against God here. We desire only what God wants. You on earth, however, cannot possibly understand what we have to endure. I am much relieved as I am no longer in the fire. I have now only the insatiable desire to see God, a suffering cruel enough indeed. But I feel that the end of my exile is at hand, and that I am soon to leave this place where I long for God with all my heart. I am so happy to see that you are really beginning to love God, who is so good, and to work seriously at your perfection. If by remaining a little longer in purgatory I could obtain that you should arrive at the perfection God demands of you in order to accomplish His designs, I would willingly bear that suffering. Never look back to examine your conduct in the past. Leave it entirely in the hands of God and go steadily forward. Your life must be summed up in 2 words: love and sacrifice. Sacrifice from morning to night, but always with love. If only you knew what God is. There is no sacrifice that you would not be willing to make, no suffering that you would not endure for Him. I had no agony, as you know, but I can tell you this, that at the last decisive moment, the devil lets loose all his rage against the one that is dying. God permits souls to go through these last trials in order to increase their merit. Souls that are strong and generous, in order that they may have a more glorious place in heaven, have often had, at the end of their lives, and in the moment of death, terrible combats with the angel of darkness. You have been witness to this, but they always come out victorious. God never allows the soul that has been devoted to him during life to perish at the last moment. Those souls who have loved the Blessed Virgin and invoked her all their lives receive from her many graces in their last struggles. I have already said that one is glad to have an intercessor with God in those dreadful moments. Some souls die quite tranquilly without experiencing any of those trials. God has designs in everything. How can I describe what happens after the agony? It is impossible really to understand it unless one has passed through it. When the soul leaves the body, it is as if it were lost in, or if I may say so, surrounded by God. It finds itself in such a bewildering light that in the twinkling of an eye, it sees its whole life spread out, and at this sight, it sees what it deserves. The soul does not see God, but is annihilated in his presence. If the soul is guilty, as I was, and therefore deserves to go to purgatory, it is so crushed by the weight of the fault that still remained to be blotted out that it hurls itself into purgatory. It is only then that one understands God and his love for souls, and what a terrible evil sin is in the eyes of the Divine Majesty. All that happens in this other world is a mystery for yours.